During last lecture, we have discussed about the calculation of packing efficiency for simple cubic system, body-centered cubic system, and face-centered cubic system. Now, summary of this point is: in simple cubic system, 52.4% space is occupied and 47.6% space is empty. In body-centered cubic system, 68% space is occupied and 32% space is empty, whereas in case of face-centered cubic system or cubic closed pack system, 74% space is occupied and 26% space is empty. Coordination number for simple cubic system is 6, body-centered cubic system 8, and face-centered cubic system it is 12. Now, how to calculate number of particles and unit cell in particular quantity, that is x gram of metallic crystal. Now we know that density of crystal or density of solid, it is equal to m into z upon a cube Na, where m is molar mass, Na is a Avogadro number, a cube it is a volume of unit cell, and z is the number of atoms in unit cell. That is, for simple cubic system number of atom is 1, body centered cubic system it is 2, and face centered cubic system it is 4. Now molar mass quantity, that is m gram, or the molar mass amount of any substance contain Avogadro number of particles, that is Na number of atoms. So this is fixed. Then x gram of metal will contain how much atoms? This can be obtained by cross multiplication, that is x into Na upon m. So these many atoms present in x gram of metal. But we know that m, that is molar mass, it is equal to rho into a cube into Na by z. This is just thus obtained from this first equation, that is rho is equal to mz upon a cube Na. Now just we substitute the value of m in this relation, and then we get the number of atoms present in x gram, it is equal to x into Na into z by rho a cube Na. And when we simplify this, then it comes x into z upon rho a cube. So these many atoms present in x gram of metal. Then how to calculate number of unit cell for a given number of particles? Suppose z number of particles corresponds to 1 unit cell. Then xz upon rho a cube, these many particles will contain how many unit cell? So this is again cross multiplication. It gives x into z upon rho a cube z. When we simplify this, it comes x upon rho a cube. That is, x gram of metal contain x by rho a cube number of unit cells. So these simple relations are important to calculate the number of unit cells and number of particles in x gram of metallic crystal. Now next important point, that is crystal defects or imperfections in the solid. Now what is the meaning of crystal defect or crystal imperfections? The irregularities in the arrangement of constituent particles of solid crystal, it is called as crystal defect. Actually in crystalline solid, constituent particles are orderly arranged, but by some means, that is at the time of crystallization or just by heating the crystal, sometimes there is a generation of irregularities or creation of irregularities in the crystal lattice, and that irregularity, it is called as crystal defect. So already I told you the crystal defects created during the crystallization or during heating of particular solid. A perfectly ideal crystal or non-defective crystal is possible only at 0 Kelvin, and it is very difficult to attain this 0 Kelvin temperature. So there are three types of defects, that is point defect, line defect and plane defect. So in this chapter actually we are going to focus on the point defects. Further, there are three types of point defects: stoichiometric point defects, impurity point defects and non-stoichiometric point defects. Stoichiometric point defects can be vacancy defect, self-interstitial defect, Schottky defect and Frankel defect, whereas impurity defects can be substitutional impurity defect and interstitial impurity defect, whereas non-stoichiometric defects can be metal deficiency defect and metal excess defect. Now let us discuss one by one. Now point defects means the defects occur due to irregularities produced in the arrangement of bases at the lattice point in the crystalline solid. So that particular defect, it is called as point defects. In short, actually these point defects are due to dislocation or vacancies occurring in the crystal because of the lattice point, dislocation of lattice points. So first point defect is the stoichiometric point defect. A chemical compound contains fixed ratio of number of cations and anions. This is called as stoichiometry of compound. When in a particular compound there is a fixed proportion of cations and anions, then that is called as stoichiometry of compound, and most of the crystalline solids have a specific stoichiometry. Cations is to anions ratio is fixed. So in stoichiometric point defect, the ratio of number of cations and anions of the compound remains the same. So after creation of defect, this ratio is maintained and such a defect, it is called as stoichiometric point defect. First example is vacancy defect. Now during crystallization of solid, a particle is missing from the regular site. For example, you can see these are the regular sites of the particles, but from here one particle is missing, from here also one particle is missing. So particle is missing from the regular site in the crystal and creating vacancy in the lattice structure. Now because of creation of vacancy, mass and density of the substance decreases. Then second example is self-interstitial defect in crystal solid or elemental solid. Now sometimes particles of element occupy interstitial site in the crystal, and because of this there is a creation of defect. Again, there are two ways of self-interstitial defect. One way is extra particle occupy the interstitial site. Look at this diagram. So these are the regular particles, so arranged regularly like this, but consider this particle, it is the extra particle occupying the interstitial site or void space. Even this is the extra particle occupying interstitial site. So this type of defect, it is called as self interstitial defect. So atoms of same element, they occupy the interstitial site. These are the extra particles, and this is one example. Actually, density of such a defective crystal increases because there is a addition of extra particles in the interstitial site. Now another way of formation of this type of interstitial defect is, in an elemental solid, a particle gets shifted from its original lattice point to an interstitial site. For example, now look at this diagram. Now from this position, one particle is missing and the same particle shifted to this interstitial site. So this is again interstitial defect. But what is the difference between these two? In first case, extra particles occupies the interstitial site. There is no any dislocation, or there is no any missing particle from the lattice point. But here there is a dislocation, or there is a creation of vacancy at one place, and the same dislocated particle or missing particle occupies the interstitial site. Now in this case, in second case, density remains the same because there is no any extra particle entering into the crystal. So this is about the self interstitial defect in elemental solid. Now third example of stoichiometric defect is Schottky defect. Especially this type of defect occur in ionic solids. Now in this case, equal number of anions and cations, these are missing from the regular positions. These are the examples: sodium chloride, potassium chloride, cesium chloride, and potassium bromide. Now look at this diagram. Now this is the ionic solid. Anion, cation, these are arranged regularly. But at certain places, there is a dislocation, or there is a vacancy of anion and cation. Now this is the vacancy of anion, whereas here is the vacancy of cation. So equal number of anions and cations missing from their positions. So when this type of vacancies are created, equal number of cation and anion vacancies are created, resulting defect is called a Schottky defect. Now what are the conditions for this Schottky defect? First important condition is the compound must be ionic, or it must contain high degree of ionic characters. Coordination number of anion must be high. For example, coordination number may be 12. Then cations and anions must have equal size. That is, cation is to anion ratio must be nearly equal to 1. What are the consequences of this Schottky defect? First important consequence is mass and density of crystal decreases, because there is a missing, or there is a loss of anion and cations, and therefore mass and density decreases. And another consequence is electrical neutrality is maintained, because there is an equal number of vacancies of cations and anions. Okay, and therefore electrical neutrality in this type of defect, it is maintained. Now second type is Frankel defect in the ionic solid. Now in case of Frankel defect, the smaller cation, it is missing from the regular lattice site and occupies interstitial position. Examples: silver chloride, silver bromide, silver iodide, zinc sulfide, potassium bromide, and calcium fluoride. In these solids, there is a possibility of Frankel defect. Now look at this diagram. anion, cation, anion. Now here cation is missing, the same cation occupying the interstitial position. Now from here also, actually these are the anions and here there should be a cation, but cation is missing from here and occupies the interstitial position, this interstitial position. So in Frankel defect, cations are missing from their original site and occupy the interstitial position. Now why only cations are occupying the interstitial position? Reason is cations are smaller than anions and therefore only cations are suitable to fit in the interstitial positions. Normally cations gets dislocated. What are the conditions for Frankel defect? First condition is anion must have low coordination number, that is it may be a 6 or 8. Then cations are much smaller than the anions. Cations must be much smaller than the anions. What are the consequences of the Frankel defect? As there is a dislocation of cation from one place to other, mass and density of crystal remains the same and electrical neutrality is also maintained. Now second point defect, that is impurity defects. Impurity defect can be substitutional or substitution impurity defect and interstitial impurity defect. In case of substitution impurity defect, regular atom is replaced by impurity atom. What it means? Consider the copper metal. In copper metal, copper atoms are the regular atoms, and when some of the copper atoms are replaced by zinc atoms, these are the impurity atoms, then resulting crystal will be defective, and that type of defect is called as substitution impurity defect. Example, especially brass alloy, which is the alloy of copper and zinc. Now second type, that is interstitial impurity defect. Now here impurity atom occupies the interstitial site. Example, stainless steel. Now here the regular atoms are iron, Fe, so their positions are as it is, there is no change. But here the carbon atoms, these are occupying the interstitial sites. Carbon atoms are the impurity atoms and these are occupying the interstitial sites, and therefore this type of defect is called as interstitial impurity defect. Difference between these two is, in first case some of the regular sites of copper or atoms of copper are vacant or these are replaced by zinc atoms, but here such a type of replacement is not there. Impurity atom occupies the interstitial site. So these are the impurity defects. Now third type, that is non-stoichiometric defects. Non-stoichiometric defect arises when the ratio of number of cations to anions become different from that in chemical formula. There are two types of non-stoichiometric defects. One is metal deficiency defect and other is metal excess defect. So first type is metal deficiency defect. So this is observed in compounds having metal ion of variable oxidation state. For example, nickel is having variable oxidation state, Ni+2 and Ni+3. So this type of defect observed in the compound having a metal ion of variable oxidation state. Now here in this case or in this type of defect, one cation is missing and its positive charge is compensated by other cation of its higher oxidation state. For example, in nickel oxide there is a metal deficiency defect. Actually this is non-stoichiometric solid. Stoichiometry is not 1:1. Nickel 0.97 and oxygen is 1. So this is non-stoichiometric solid. Now here you can see the arrangement of cations and anions. Ni plus 2, O minus. So cations, anions arranged regularly. But here there is a deficiency of Ni2 plus. So this is the vacancy of cation. That is, here there is expected to Ni2 plus, but Ni2 plus is missing from this position. So two positive charges should be here in order to have a electrical neutrality. So these two positive charges are compensated by these two Ni3 plus cations. Ni3 plus, Ni3 plus. Altogether these two cations have two positive charges extra that will compensate the vacancy created over here. Positive charge of vacancy of Ni2 plus. So this is metal deficiency defect. Now next type is metal excess defect. So this can be possible by three ways. One way is, first example is zinc oxide. In zinc oxide there is a metal excess defect. So sometimes there is a extra neutral metal atom occupies interstitial site. Consider this first diagram. Zn2 plus and O2 minus, that is zinc cation and oxide, these are arranged regularly, alternately like that. But here there is a neutral zinc atom, it occupies the interstitial site. This is the metal excess defect. Actually there is no question of disturbance of electrical neutrality, because this zinc is overall, it is a zinc atom which is electrically neutral, and therefore positive and negative charges are balanced. Another way of generating or creation of metal excess defect is cation occupies interstitial site and extra positive charge because of this interstitial cation, it is compensated by two electrons. Example of this type of defect is also zinc oxide. Difference between first and second type is, in first cases there is an extra neutral zinc atom, but here there is an extra zinc cation, and therefore if these two extra electrons are not there, then there will be imbalance between positive and negative charges, and this imbalance, it is maintained or compensated by extra electrons. So this interstitial cation or extra cation, positive charge of this extra cation, it is compensated by two extra electrons. Now another way of generation of metal excess defect is, sometimes there is a anion vacancy. This is very rare case. Sometimes there is a anion vacancies, and if there is an anion vacancy, automatically there will be extra positive charge or metal excess defect. So when sodium chloride is heated, anion vacancies are created, and these vacancies are occupied by electrons, and such a centers or vacancies, these are called as F centers or colored centers. Example is sodium chloride. So this is the metal excess defect. Now next section of this chapter, that is the electrical properties of solids. On the basis of electrical conductivity, solids are classified as conductors, semiconductors and insulators. These are the three types of solids. What are the conductors? The solids which allows the passage of electric current, they are called as conductors. Now, conductivity of the conductors or these types of solids, it is in between 10 to the power 4 to the 10 to the power 7 per ohm per meter. Now, conductivity of these conductors decreases with temperature. Examples: most of the metals are electrical conductors. Electrolytes, these are good conductors of heat and electricity. Now another type is insulators. What are insulators? The solids which do not allow the passage of electric current, these are called as insulators. Now conductivity of insulator ranges from 10 raised to minus 20 to 10 raised to minus 10 per ohm per meter. Important thing is conductivity of insulator, it is independent of temperature, and the examples are wood, glass, plastic and diamond. And third type of solid is semiconductors. The solids whose conductivity lies between conductors and insulators, these are called as semiconductors. The conductivity of semiconductor ranges from 10 raised to minus 6 to 10 raised to 4 per ohm per meter. And most important thing is conductivity of semiconductor increases with increase in temperature. Examples: all the metalloids like silicon, germanium, these are the semiconductors. So there are three solids, that is conductors, insulators and semiconductors. Now the band theory. What band theory? So electrical properties of metallic conductors, insulators and semiconductors, it is explained on the basis of band theory. Now according to molecular orbital theory, interaction of atomic orbitals of combining atoms at the time of formation of molecule or at the time of formation of metal, there is an interaction of atomic orbitals of combining atoms which results in the formation of molecular orbitals. And molecular orbitals can be bonding molecular orbitals and anti-bonding molecular orbitals. Actually, at the time of formation of bonding molecular orbitals, there will be half number of bonding molecular orbitals whose energy will be less, and there will be half number of anti-bonding molecular orbitals whose energy will be higher. Now it results in the formation of upper empty high energy conduction band of anti-bonding orbitals and lower filled low energy valence band of bonding molecular orbitals. So in the crystal there is a formation of upper conduction band and lower valence band, and the gap between these two, it is called as band gap. So band gap is the energy difference between valence band and conduction band.